Storm chances are back in the forecast for Arkansas as this cold front moves in from the north. I'm 5 News Chief Meteorologist Matt Standridge. It was a beautiful Thursday across 5 country and the rest of the natural state and in eastern Oklahoma. But things are about to change. For your Friday, we're going to be watching multiple rounds of storms try to take aim towards the state line and then push across the natural state. Right now, very unsettled weather is taking place across the central U.S. over the plains. You see several severe thunderstorm warnings in Texas and even going up towards the panhandles. What we're going to watch overnight for Thursday night into Friday morning will be some of these thunderstorms that are popping Thursday afternoon to form into one big old blob, and it's going to push across Oklahoma overnight tonight with some wind threats for Stillwater and Oklahoma City, probably weakening once it arrives in Arkansas. But tomorrow morning we're going to be watching this wave of rain and thunder coming in. The severe threats look low for the natural state for that first round, but it'll be pretty widespread. I think a lot of us will get a soaking in the morning after 7 o'clock, and a lot of it even coming after 8 o'clock. But by 8 o'clock, up and down the state line, we'll be watching some of that heavy rain starting to come in. Once that passes through, we could be watching the atmosphere redevelop thunderstorms into the afternoon. Take a look in Kansas. Throughout this afternoon for Thursday, we've been watching these scattered thunderstorms bubble up, and then they're going to push south as the cold front also pushes south. We're going to have roughly the same environment that Kansas has for tomorrow afternoon. The only difference is they didn't have storms in the morning today. They're just tapping into a completely fresh environment. We're not. We're going to have that morning round. That morning round is actually helping us for the afternoon. If we use most of the energy and we don't recover, we're not going to see as many storms as Kansas is seeing. But we're going to have an environment similar to what they're getting just north and west of Wichita and east of Dodge City. So this activity comes in for Friday afternoon and into the evening. So we've got a couple different rounds to talk about, but the rest of Thursday evening looks just fine. Here's another way to talk about the storms with some words and let's put some times to everything. The first round comes in after 7 o'clock for our eastern Oklahoma counties, crossing into Arkansas around 8, maybe even some folks close to 9 a.m. So many of us should be able to get to work just fine. You may see some storm clouds off in that western sky. If some kids are still in school, they'll be watching that western sky too. Hopefully we can get everyone in before the downpours come in. But from 8, 9, 10 o'clock, watch out for some heavy rain. Pretty widespread too. There'll be a couple breaks, but a lot of us will get some of that rain. By lunchtime, most of that rain starts to break up. Well, ground's probably still going to be pretty wet though, but we'll have a few hours where we're mostly dry other than a very stray shower. I think by about 3 o'clock, we'll start to rejuvenate the atmosphere. Hopefully not hopefully, but the sun may start to come out. And from a storm's perspective, they hope the sun starts to come out so they can fire back up. If we have too many clouds left over from that first round, this second round will be greatly diminished. So we're just going to have to see. This is really something that we'll have a better idea right before it begins. I know that's really close to the timing. You guys need to know now, but I just want to give you the update. It's all about that time frame from noon to 3 to see how much the atmosphere recovers. From 3 to 9 o'clock, we'll be watching these isolated strong storms fire up. They'll be hit or miss. Not everyone will get one, but those will be the strongest storms. They're going to be way stronger than that morning round. These are the ones that could have some severe thunderstorm warnings on them. Mainly hail and wind threats are going to apply. Tornado threats are pretty low. Once the front passes on through, the one that you saw in Kansas, and I think that starts to pass over us 10, 11 o'clock, and we're done. Then we start to push everything into parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. But this 3 to 9 is especially for the western half of Arkansas. You live from Little Rock east to Jonesboro and Pine Bluff, all the way to the Mississippi River towards Memphis. We may be up to midnight or so. I want to show you the maps here in a second. We've got time zones across all of Arkansas to show you what we're expecting. But that first round comes in the morning. This is 6 o'clock Friday morning. Heavy rain pushing across Oklahoma. There could be a warning or two on this, but likely just a lot of heavy rain and thunder. Starts to approach the state line by about 8 o'clock. So we're probably getting wet in Sallisaw and Poto just west of us into Oklahoma by 8, starting to cross over the state line by 8 o'clock into Fort Smith, Van Buren, and into the metros. But the heaviest rain will be 9, 10 o'clock or so. This round overall will start to diminish later into the day. It's the next round coming in. Notice how we have a few more flare-ups later into the afternoon. This is 4 o'clock. We've had the first round come through, but if we have too many clouds in between, that'll greatly reduce these little cells. We'll have to watch. But later in the afternoon, 5, 6 o'clock, we'll be watching a couple of strong thunderstorms. This is where the cold front is. It'll start in Benton County and then clear off towards the south. There could also be more complexes of storms towards Texarkana and south of Lake Washita, south of Mena. I think these are going to be the strongest ones. These are the ones you really have to watch out for. But some of these storms could be potentially strong too. And look at the time, 7 o'clock. We've got a lot of things going on. These will be hit or miss. I think the atmosphere may not be as active as Futurecast is showing. There'll be probably some breaks in between these storms, but you can see the timing, 7, 8, 9 o'clock pushing through 5 country, and then the rest of these storms also firing off towards the east. So we get to central Arkansas closer to 11 o'clock or so, and then pushing to midnight once you get to eastern Arkansas as you get closer to the Mississippi River. But we're going to be watching some of these storms. They could have some hail threats with them. I think if you live in western Arkansas, Fort Smith, northwest Arkansas, Van Buren, Clarksville, I think we're done by about 9 for most of us. We'll watch. We'll give you updates throughout tomorrow. But that doesn't help because a lot of things are going on from 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. We're going to be watching these hit or miss storms. In central Arkansas, we'll have overnight threats going into past sunset. Here's another way to look at the severe threats. The strongest thunderstorms are going to be from Fayetteville south. In northwest Arkansas, we have a sharp cutoff because as that front's coming on through, we're going to probably not have enough time to rejuvenate the atmosphere as much in Benton County and Carroll County. So we just have a level 1. Even lower, we go down to pretty much no severe risk in Missouri because we just don't have enough time to recover at all. But we will have some time to recover in the River Valley and all the way south to Texarkana, although southern Arkansas, especially southwestern Arkansas, won't get as many storms in the morning round, so things could be even stronger as you a little hard or feather start south once you get south of Lake Ouachita. So we'll watch there in the Ouachitas all the way to Texarkana and El Dorado. And then as storms press east into the evening hours, eventually they'll start to reduce their severe threats too. So this level 2 severe risk includes southern portions of Washington County from the U of A all the way south in downtown Fort Smith, Clarksville, Paris, Boonville, Greenwood. We're going to be watching that level 2. But what kind of storms does level 2 even mean? Generally more hail and wind threats, I think, for a majority of these storms. They're going to be coming in from the north, and when they come in from the north, they typically have lower tornado chances. Not always, but they do typically. So we've got only a low tornado chance, medium hail and wind threat coming in for tomorrow late evening. All right, timing. Promise we talk about when are the storms going to hit. We aren't necessarily talking about the morning round. We're talking more about the evening round. So this light pink shows you 3 to 6 o'clock in northwest Arkansas and extreme portions of northeastern Oklahoma. You go to this next shade of purple from Van Buren, Fort Smith, Poteau, all the way to Clarksville, including Russellville, 6 to 9. After 9 o'clock, I think we press into central Arkansas, Conway, Little Rock, also Hot Springs. And then midnight is when we're talking about extreme eastern Arkansas. So Jonesboro, right into West Memphis, all the way south into about Pine Bluff, and then even south to El Dorado, closer to midnight. Before these zones, there could be an isolated shower, but this is the line talking about mainly the severe threats for us. They probably are going to be the strongest, though, in southwestern Arkansas. But 3 to 6 and for northwest, and then 6 to 9 for much of the River Valley for that secondary round. We'll have to watch. We'll see how much the atmosphere recovers. I tell you what, though, we're going to cool down big time once that front passes on through. Your Saturday and Sunday, a lot cooler, more sunshine for your Saturday, very low humidity. In fact, we're going to be starting our mornings in the 50s. There could be a few of us that even start our morning in the 40s Sunday morning. Be a little bit cooler. North wind coming in, nothing crazy, but light north wind coming in. Drier conditions, not so muggy outside. That's what it's not going to feel. It's not going to have that humidity like we've been kind of getting used to the past couple of weeks here into early and mid-May. But that pushes out for at least a couple days, and we start to warm things back up next week. Next week's the week right before Memorial Day. We've got a slight warm-up coming in towards Memorial Day weekend. It looks like in that long-range forecast, we're going to be pretty toasty, I think, headed into Memorial Day. But for your Friday, rain and storm chances, there'll be some sun in between. How much sun? I'm trying to figure that out right now. But the more sun you get, the more destabilization you're going to have of the atmosphere. You could have more thunderstorms. Later in the afternoon, another round of storms starts to pop up. They'll be hit or miss. Not everyone will get one. There's going to be a few of us that don't get anything in the afternoon. Hopefully you're that person. But there will be some storms to talk about across the natural state. In the River Valley, we're going to be a little bit warmer because that front will come in as fast for us. It'll still be off towards the north, so we're going to squeeze by to some mid and upper 70s, maybe even a few of us get close to 80 degrees. But we've got a slightly higher chance because we have a higher chance to recover. And same story in southwestern Arkansas. Then next week we warm right back up. But this weekend should be pretty nice with some of that cooler, drier weather, temperatures just staying in the 70s.